Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 12, Episode 51, overall 656 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by our friends at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac vehicles as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email them at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family-run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969. And speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, with winter here, 2.5 feet of snow here in Southern Ontario, the cold temperatures, if you're looking for winter tires, check out the service department at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership. They can hook you up with quality winter tires. See Greg, Sarah, and Lisa for your winter tire needs. And also the cold weather, minus 15, minus 20, minus 30 temps can be very hard on your car battery. So right now at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, go to the service department right now and you can get a 12 volt free battery test. And if you happen to need a new battery, you can receive a $20 instant rebate as well. So again, get yourself some winter tires at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, or make sure your battery is fully charged, because the cold weather can be really hard on the battery. So again, go see Greg, Sarah, or Lisa in the service department at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership. I hope everyone is doing well on this Friday, January 30th, 2026. Once again, it's about a minus 20 wind chill here in Southern Ontario, but thankfully we've had no snow the last week. And I'm looking forward to my guest today. It's her first appearance on our show, and her name is DeAnna Green. And she is the CEO and founder of Nydan Group, and she's also known as the BossCHIC of Real Estate. And she is based out of the Houston, Texas area. And she's also the host of her own podcast show called Let's Be Raw as well. And we're going to bring on DeAnna Green right now. Good afternoon, DeAnna. How are you?
I'm doing well, Chris. How are you today?
I'm staying warm. I'm inside doing some work, and I haven't had to shovel snow now in 6 days. I have been shoveling like 2-3 times a day, but we haven't had any snow the last 6 days because it's been too cold to snow.
Well, it sounds like you're getting your exercise in, right? Without even having to go to the gym.
It is good cardio, and I do help a couple neighbors that are elderly, so I usually do their sidewalks and driveways too, because there are certain people out there where they shouldn't be shoveling snow right now with the cold temps and the amount of snow we've had.
Well, look at you earning your wings into heaven.
Well, thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to have you come on. And you've had an impressive career in the real estate industry as well. And how is the real estate industry over in Texas right now?
So it's actually really good. Last year we had kind of a down, slow market, but it's starting to rebound now. I think a lot of, on the buyer side, I think our buyers are realizing that we're not going to get back down to the 3% interest rates anytime soon. So stop sitting on the porch waiting for the right opportunity to buy. Same thing with sellers. They're starting to kind of look at, letting that inventory hit back the market. I'm in development now, so we've got a lot of projects happening with that. I just always say that real estate is the best wealth vehicle to be attached to. You just need to know what side of the scale to be on, depending on the market.
Do you find the economy over in the States right now has kind of shrunk? And do you find that the buyer's market has kind of shrunk a little bit too?
Yeah, and what we are also seeing is what I'm only a little nervous about with this year is that watching the Google Analytics right now, Google is saying that the term or the words looking up how to avoid foreclosure is at an all-time high. It's actually higher than when it was when we had that last crash in 2008, 2009. So a lot of people can look at that like, oh, is that what's getting ready to start happening? We're getting ready to have this influx of inventory, and it's going to be due to foreclosure. Or I kind of look at it on another side of it. Is this also our consumers being a lot smarter and getting ahead of the situation if they, might find themselves potentially facing foreclosure? And so for like my team, I'm telling them, hey, this is the time to start educating your homeowners out there. If you are thinking about or contemplating it, let us do something like pulling free CMAs for you, which are our comparative market analysis, telling you what kind of equity and value is currently in your home. And maybe the right course is to go ahead and get it on the market and get it sold so you don't lose that equity. You don't get hit, on your credit with a foreclosure or a short sale. So again, it just goes back to always knowing what side of the scale based on the market and how to educate, your clientele, your network.
How important is the educating the client part of real estate these days?
For me, it's something that we don't even, it's not up for discussion. The way that I onboard my clients, the way that I teach my team is everything is a mindset. When I sit down and talk with a client, we don't start with the highlight reels about what kind of house you're looking for and what must-haves. I'm talking mindset. What's the goal? Is this a short term? Is this a long term goal? Is this the forever home? Is it the starter home? Is it a home you want to later on turn into an investment property? So everything for me is educational and mindset, because once I truly know where they are and what they're thinking about and how they're going to treat this purchase, it allows me to do multiple things, educate them along the way, number one, but number two, also making sure that from a goal standpoint, wealth building standpoint, we're on the right path. And then there's been times where I've been frank with my clients and said, you know what, based on everything that you're telling me, I'm not sure if you're truly ready right now, because home ownership is a big responsibility. Most people only look at what is my monthly mortgage amount going to be, and nobody really teaches a lot of these homeowners. It's not, can you get the house? Can you keep it? So there's maintenance, right? How do you treat that? And you create a capital improvement account where you're putting money aside every month. So when that AC unit goes out, you're not having to put it on your credit card. So all of that is educational. I talk about that in my first time home buyer seminar. It's what I talk about when I'm out, at speakers conferences. I want to give them the good, bad, the ugly, the indifference. But my clients know they'll never have buyer's remorse and they'll never have seller's remorse with me.
And when you buy a house too, you don't want to be house poor. You're right. You have to have money for utilities, for emergencies, roofing, renovations, stuff like that too. It's like buying a new car too. You just want to make sure that when you buy a car, obviously it's not as big as buying a house, but you still want to make sure you have enough money monthly for car payments, insurance, and gas and stuff like that. And I wanted to ask you also too. Obviously, buying is probably the best way to go, but do you find more and more people now, especially in your market, are going to leasing and renting instead of buying?
Yeah, and we've seen the influx of builders now that have started converting their inventory to try to obviously offload it from, selling it to now turning some communities. We've got some hybrid communities where parts of the community is for people that want to buy and parts are where they've built to dedicate just for leasing. So that's another thing, being honest with my clients and saying that if I don't feel right now is the right time for you, let's put you in a rental. And then let's build that plan so that in 6 months, when I'm ready to touch you again, now we actually put you in a better position from, having your down payment, having your closing costs, right? Again, like you said, you took the words out of my mouth. I talk about, we don't want you house poor. We don't want your house now becoming, it's no longer a home. It becomes a burden. It's no longer an asset. It becomes a liability to you.
Now, I'm just based out of Toronto, DeAnna. Can you just tell our audience a little bit about yourself and where did you attend school and did you have any early influences and mentors and when did you get that real estate bug?
Oh, wow. That's a lot. Okay, so let me unpack it. So, who am I? DeAnna Green. I'm a wife, a mother, been married to my husband, who's also my business partner. Um, we're getting ready to celebrate 25 years in May. Been together 27. So we've got three amazing young adults, not kids. So one is 33, one's 24, and one's 20. We originally from North Carolina. Been here in Texas for now. We're getting ready to celebrate 18 years in August. Absolutely love it. This is now home for sure. Real estate wise, education wise, you attended school in North Carolina. Not a college graduate, so that's one of the things that I'm actually very proud of. That I didn't have to necessarily go that route. Life had a different plan for me, and I've been able to make lemonade from lemons. Let's see, what else? You said education. Who am I? Our firm, Nydan Real Estate or Nydan Group. It is everything real estate. We are very prideful and accomplished when it comes to being able to tell our clients they don't have to go anywhere outside of our company for real estate because we have the residential and commercial division. So I am a broker. We've got a team of 7 other agents. We have an investment division. So I have coached multiple women in getting into wholesaling. We've done a total of between 50 to 60 fix and flips over the last 5 years. We have a development team now. So we've got contractors so we can build from the ground up. And then we have the lending side. We say we are where the money resides because my husband, that is his baby, his division. He oversees our mortgage, commercial, and consumer lending. We call him the Lord of Lending, as I am the BossCHIC of Real Estate. So, and as far as when the bug of real estate, it's funny. I recently wrote my memoir. And I was going back to, being introduced to real estate. And for a long time, I used to talk about just going right into property management, which was in my young 20s. But that's not really where it started. I had an uncle who was a carpenter by trade. And so I think I was probably about 10, 11 years old. I went to go live with my father and my stepmother. And they had bought a house or were renting a house. And it had that old paneling look, in the living room and old wallpaper in the kitchen on the walls, and the tile flooring was old and outdated. And so my stepmother, wanted to completely renovate it. And so they had my uncle come over. And for whatever reason, I don't know why. Well, I know why, but then I did, and why I was fascinated, because I had a brother too, and he was absolutely not interested in pulling up carpet and pulling up old tacks and taking knobs off and painting and stripping. He wasn't interested in any of that. But I found it fascinating. And so I literally got attached to his hip while he was renovating our house. So I learned at, 10, 11 years old, again, how to pull up carpet, how to pull baseboards up, how to, prime walls for painting. We renovated. And so that was truly my first fix and flip, but I didn't know it, at that time. And so then I got out of high school. I was living in an apartment complex, and that was my biggest bill. I was going to a community college, looking to get my associate's degree. And so I would go into the leasing office and pay my rent. And they ended up having an opportunity open up for a property manager position. And so they asked me, and that was my biggest bill, as a young adult. And I was a young mother as well. I had just had my son. My son was probably about 5 or 6 at this time. And they asked me, said, hey, we got this opportunity. You already live on the property. Would you like the job? And I said, what's the benefits? And they said, well, your rent's going to be free. Well, that was my biggest bill. So I said, sign me up. So I broke into property management from there. And just from there, I grew from, leasing, bookkeeper, property manager, regional VP. When I met my husband, he had some rental properties. So got in with him, kind of, revamped that and We grew our portfolio back in North Carolina before coming here to Texas. I did about 8-9 years in corporate housing, so still in the real estate side. And then took a leap of faith. My husband encouraged me to go ahead and step out on entrepreneurship in 2016. And we started Nydan Real Estate Group. And every 2 years, we've added an additional arm to our business. So really, when I say I'm the boss chick of real estate, it has been in my blood for a long, long time. I truly believe that.
Going to put you on the spot here, DeAnna. Who gave you the nickname of the term, the boss chick of real estate? Who gave that to you?
So I did. I had a platform before Let's Be Raw that was called BossCHICs of Houston. So at that time, probably back in 2018, 2019, that was a term, right? We all got, catchy phrases every year. So at that time, every woman was being a boss chick. Every woman was showing up, entrepreneurial CEOs. So that's what we kind of coined ourselves. And so I created a platform called BossCHICs of Houston. We were actually honored, and we have an official day from the city of Houston. It's June 4th, it's BossCHICs of Houston Day. And then I rebranded it to BossCHICs International. And so from there, it just kind of made sense. Again, my passion, and I've kept it since then. So I've rebranded BossCHICs to now back to my Let's Be Raw platform. But everybody, if you know key people here in Houston and you say, who's DeAnna Green, they've heard it enough. It's the boss chick of real estate.
For those people DeAnna, that are watching this show live stream or on audio, and they're looking not just to get into real estate, but they're looking to be an entrepreneur, what experience would you give them? What advice would you give to those people being an entrepreneur such as yourself?
Well, the first thing I would say is you need to get a mentor. You really, I think that a lot of people don't necessarily see the value in it. But the education, I always say you're going to pay for the education some kind of way, right? You're either going to pay for your education by you trying to do it yourself, falling, bumping your head, hitting brick roads, losing money, maybe even losing out on a field that could be your passion, but you just went and you didn't take the right steps. Getting a mentor that has already broke through those barriers, paid the cost for you, and someone that can show you the receipts. I'm real big on that, because right now everybody on social media got a course to sell, and everybody can claim to show you how to make 6 figures. And my thing is, that's great, but can they open up their books and show you the numbers? Can they show you the receipts? So holding them accountable when it comes to that. Mentorship is important. I still have mentors to this day, and I've been in this industry now for 25 plus years.
Congrats.
Thank you. The other thing that I would say is truly from a real estate standpoint, or even from an entrepreneurial standpoint, your passion, you got to know what your passion and your purpose is. You cannot be chasing the dollar, because if it's your passion and your purpose, financially, it's going to come your way, right? I had a girlfriend, I love this phrase, I use it all the time. At a conference, she said, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not your why. And that's so, it's so profound. And so real estate keeps me up at night. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning with some of my best ideas, or I know it's when God is saying, okay, the world is quiet, and now let me have a conversation with you about this or about that. I get very passionate and emotional when I see new agents come on board, and this is my industry. So when I see people infiltrate this industry and they're not passionate, they think that it's all about taking keys and opening up a door and showing people houses. I take offense to that, which is why I do stuff like I have every other month. I host a real estate unplugged business mixer. It is free to realtors and brokers. I bring speakers on because I'm trying to debunk what y'all have been told or what y'all think, and how you sometimes they tend to dilute the industry. But that happens in all industries. So you've got to figure out what your passion and your purpose is. You've also got to be somebody that you can be your own cheerleader. Because when you are an entrepreneur, and Chris, I'm sure you know that, the days that you don't want to get up and you don't want to, put the clothes on, you don't want to go meet this client, you don't want to have this conversation, who's there to motivate you and tell you? Because it's easy when you're working for corporate America, right?
Yep.
If your office hours are 9 to 5 and you want that check every 2 weeks, you already know who motivating you. You better get up and get to that job, right? But from an entrepreneurial standpoint, especially in real estate, that's the other thing a lot of people don't realize. And that's why it bothers me that there's all this industry talk about wanting to justify our commissions. And I'm like, well, hold up. We are technically self-employed every time a transaction closes. We start all over again being self-employed because we are one of the few industries out there. We don't get paid until we take a client to closing and it actually funds. So you've got to make sure that on those hard days, on those days where even if you having a great day and you expecting the world to now pat you on your back and clap and give you your accolades, you better know how to take this hand, put it back here, and pat yourself on your own back.
DeAnna, what are some stereotypes of the industry that still are out there that kind of bother you? And also, are you able to tell us about the licensing process? Is there a licensing process of being a real estate realtor in the state of Texas?
Yeah. So, well, one is I just had a call yesterday with a young girl that wants to get into real estate. So one thing I'm going to debunk is if you want to get into a form of real estate, you don't necessarily have to have your realtor license. Okay, that's the first thing. That's where I see it. And that's another reason why we have an industry that, like NAR just released the stats for 2025. Over 1 million licensed agents in the US, and 77% of them last year did not do one transaction, 0 transactions. Okay, so that right there again tells you that there's too many myths out here about this industry and why people are going and getting their real estate license. So even when I had a conversation with a young lady yesterday, I started out with, what is it about real estate that intrigues you? What is your long-term goal? What do you want to do with it? Where do you see yourself applying your real estate experience? And when she told me she really wants to be a developer, she really wants to be able to build housing for the homeless across the US. She wants to be able to, build multifamily. She had that type of, and I'm like, well, you don't need your real estate license for that. Because this is the other thing I'll say, and I go on camera all day long. Real estate school taught me 2 things: how to pass the exam and how to stay out of jail. That's the only thing it taught me in real estate school. I didn't truly learn real estate until I was out of school, and now I was dealing with my transactions. Every transaction is different. Every client is different. So that's one of the things that I want to break, that you assume that as soon as you get out of real estate school, you are a realtor and you about to start making 6 figures that year. So the actual average realtor out here, even working full time, is only making $40,000 to $50,000. So that's another thing to break that myth, right? That's another reason why we've diversified our portfolio, because if I was truly only acting as a residential home buyer and seller realtor, my family would not have the lifestyle that they have. And that's just the truth, right? Now, as far as licensing is concerned, it depends on your state. Every state you're going to have a state license or state exam you're going to have to take. Now, the federal exam is across the board. So that tends to be the same regardless of what state you're in. Texas is actually known to be one of the hardest places to pass, believe it or not, even though we have over 100,000 registered agents in Texas. So a lot of states do mirror their exam after Texas. There's right now you take 270 hours. And I think it's still 6 to 7 modules, and forgive me because it's been a minute since I took that one. But I think it's about 6 or 7 modules that kind of go over principles 1 and 2. There's a legal 1 and 2 side of it. There's the forms, the promulgated forms course you go through. And I can't, off the top of my head, can't remember what the other 2 are. And so that 270 hours is exactly that. I think each module is like 30 hours. So that's how you come up with the 270. And then after you do that, you sit for your exam. And so you've got a state and federal, you have to make a minimum of a 70%. I believe that's still the case on it. Now they've changed it up since when I started. If you didn't pass both state and federal, you had to take all exams all over again. A couple of years ago, they changed that where if you passed state but not federal, you could go back and just take your federal. They wouldn't make you take it all over again. And then we have continuing education classes like most certifications out there. So once you get past your first 2 years of not being what they consider a sales apprentice, we have 18 hours a year. But as a broker, I have more because I have a broker's responsibility course I have to take, and plus some other courses since I'm actually managing a team.
DeAnna, since you've been in real estate for 25 years, do you find there are more women in real estate, and do you find there's more diversity than even 10 years ago in the industry?
Definitely, this is a woman-dominated industry for sure. It's funny because obviously when it first started out, that wasn't the case because a lot of women couldn't even get their license. When it first started out. Diversity-wise, no. We're still, as far as Black and brown women or Black and brown individuals in here, we still hold a very small percentage of the marketplace. But then we also have an organization that caters to Black and brown realtors. We're actually called realists. So not only am I a member of NAR, which allows me to use the trademark realtor, but I'm also a member of NARAB, which is a National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And that was created because Black and brown people were not able to get their real estate license or call themselves a realtor. So that organization was created, and that's why we're called realists if you're a part of theirs. So the diversity is definitely, has it grown in the last 10 years? Absolutely. And I think COVID, with a lot of industries, I'm sure you saw an influx of a lot of entrepreneurs being built or created during that particular time. And we definitely got a good fair share of Black and brown people coming into the real estate industry.
DeAnna, how much has the internet and social media, even in the last 5-10 years, impacted the real estate industry?
It's impacted it greatly. I was having a conversation with my team a couple weeks ago about how a lot of the new agents, I didn't have to experience what they have to go through right now, which is having a social media presence. When I first got into it, that wasn't a necessity. My business was built organically from referrals, from doing good business, giving good customer service, and then asking those people to refer me to somebody else. So I didn't have to worry about carving out time on a weekly basis to post social media, right? To try to get my name out there, to get creative, keeping up with the trends. Now we got AI that we need to start, incorporating into our social media marketing, understanding SEO, optimization. That wasn't something that I had to be focused on when I first got started, but that is a lot of what these new agents have to deal with. So talk about, there was a time where all I had to do was go to networking events, spread the word, get my name out there, and business would come. Now I have to add in all the other marketing pieces. I mean, even trying to keep up with the videos that are out there. You get used to being able to create a certain video, and 30 days from now, somebody else has gotten way more creative. And now your video looked like it was something that was created 30 years ago versus today. So there's a challenge. And then if you are an agent that is already uncomfortable being on camera, that's the other thing with my agents. I'm having to coach them on how to be comfortable on camera, because majority of people are not. Most people are really more introverted, even when they think they're extroverted, until they really have to show up in a different type of format. So that becomes a challenge, because it's like, well, how anybody going to know that you are a brand new agent or you're accepting clients if you're not putting yourself out here? Because that's where everybody goes now. When we want information, where do we go? We go to our phone, we go to our laptop. We don't typically call anybody.
100%. And I wanted to get your thoughts on AI. Do you find AI is going to really shrink the real estate industry in the next 5-10 years?
I think what it's going to do is it's going to help from a processing standpoint, from optimization, from being able to, something as simple as we've been always had, if you pay for leads, which can be quite expensive because it's always been a human component as far as whatever that lead company was trying to get the right words out there and find the right potential buyers or sellers. AI is doing that at a much faster speed, right? So you have that benefit from the agent side of, if you're willing to invest into that type of platform or software, then now you've got somebody out there chasing and bringing you leads at a fraction of the cost. So there's that benefit. It's obviously a benefit on the AI. I'm starting to incorporate it now. I'm doing a mix of, some of my content is me live, some of my content is my actual photo that I took, and some I'm starting to play around with from a marketing standpoint. It's time consuming, but it's necessary because that's what's happening. Now, recently, I haven't spoke on it, so this is actually a great platform to kind of give my little, 5-minute rant on. There's a video floating out there right now that there's a company in Florida that is promoting how it is now come to the marketplace to help home buyers buy a house in Florida, cutting out a realtor, all to save some commission. So basically they're saying for a fraction of the price, instead of you paying the industry standard, which tends to be 3% on a buyer side, you're only going to have to pay 1% to our company. But what a lot of people are missing is, if you truly, this being one of the biggest assets for most people that they will ever purchase in their life, there is so much fine print in the legal paperwork of what you are signing off on. There is things like, well, can AI be able to explain to you this inspection report and what exactly you need to be mindful of, what you need to prepare for if you decide to buy this house, how much money you need to be put aside if you take a house that you already know has a 10-year roof and your area tends to have a lot of hurricanes or heavy rain. Well, you might be ready to have to replace that roof in 5 years. Is AI going to tell you that? Is AI going to be able to walk into this house and see things like the fine cracks in the wall and be able to tell you there's a difference between a foundation issue versus a settlement issue, right? So can AI do any of that? No. And that's where I'm passionate about. I don't feel that I'm ever going to get replaced when it comes to true real estate, because there's still that human component of my client calling me and saying, hey, DeAnna, I'm interested in diversifying my portfolio. Should I go become a landlord? Should I just buy duplexes? Should I house hack? Where are you going to get that for and to tell you really about that area? Like somebody that has driven that area, not AI that's pulling stats. So I'm not as concerned as I feel that a lot of people may be about it. And my clients, I say to them, you're getting more. Don't worry. You shouldn't be worried about my commission. What you should be worried about is, it's no different if you go get brain surgery done. You don't want the AI person up in there. You want the doctor who has touched a brain, who has been to school, who has dealt with having a life in his hand, who has empathy and compassion and sympathy. That's who you want operating on you.
DeAnna, do you find empathy is shrinking these days? And how important is empathy as a real estate realtor?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I think right now, I feel like even as a whole with our world, we have just also become so desensitized with everything. I mean, you see something that 15, 20 years ago that comes up on your phone or news or whatever the case may be, and you're horrified by it, right? You have that empathy. You can feel it. You're like, oh my God, you put yourself into it. Well, what if it was me? What if it was my child? And you stay in that moment for a minute. You might even talk about it to other people. Oh my goodness, did you see this? You might tell your family and friends, please be mindful of this in case you're ever in this situation. I don't feel that happens now. I feel like it comes, we have this quick microwavable emotion to it. And then it's like, oh, well, there's something else new that's already come out. And we move past it too fast.
I know the real estate market is a little different here in Canada than in the States, but I have been seeing more and more people sell their own homes by themselves, trying to save money, but in the end, it actually costs them more money.
Yeah. And a big part of that is if they don't even understand something as simple or not even simple, but something as relevant as what's called your seller's disclosure. If you don't have an agent that can educate you as a seller to say you cannot knowingly know that there's a defect in your home, and because you're trying to sell it to save you some money, you don't want to use an agent, so you just going to arbitrarily not disclose it. And now that person has bought that house from you and they move in. They tell you the number one, when a lawsuit comes up from a transaction of a buyer buying a house, the very first thing that is brought into the lawsuit is the seller's disclosure. And most homeowners don't understand the depth to that one report and how that could turn into a major lawsuit to them. So you need somebody experienced that can walk you through that and make sure that just that alone, right? Things like, again, even understanding the numbers. Like, you trying to save money, but what if you had an expert that could say, well, you know what, the money you trying to save, if you actually invested that money into maybe new carpet or fresh paint on the wall, we could actually push your market value up, and now you actually making more money on that side. So again, it being the profession that I'm in, I just feel like, in the smart ones that can see past the money side of it, but look at it from, I need to make sure I'm doing this the right way. I still feel we're going to continue to have those individuals out there.
How important is a home inspection report? And on average, I can't speak for Canada, but on average, how much would an inspection report cost in Texas?
So it's definitely very important, whether you buying new construction or whether you buying what we call pre-sale, which was, already built. It's more important, obviously, in a pre-sale home because it's been lived in, right? And what you see when you walk in the house, you may not know what there could be mold growing behind the walls. You may not know that. You may not know what type of piping is in the house. Is it PEX? Is it copper? Same thing with your electrical wiring. Those things are important as well, knowing the age of the house. So an inspection for me is a non-negotiable. The only time my clients don't do an inspection report is if I'm dealing with my clients that are investors and they are already buying the property deeply discounted. So an inspection report doesn't matter because they plan to go in, rip the walls out, and completely renovate it anyway. But for my home buyers, it is non-negotiable. And so, but on average, it costs all the inspection companies here in Texas, they actually base it on age of the house, square footage of the house, and the type of house. So whether it's on a slab, whether it's on a pier and beam, whether it's down at the coast with the beach, the beach house on the stilts. So let's say a 2,000 square foot, 1-story house might run you $500-$600 for that inspection. But what if that $500-$600, even though you walked into this house and you fell in love with it, it's got the perfect lighting, the perfect walls, the perfect floors, but that $500 inspection report tells you it's got some things happening in the attic. It's got some things happening on the roof, areas you're not going to see.
DeAnna, do you find more and more people are now going to smaller houses, like those tiny little houses?
I think our older generation is looking at it from that standpoint because they've already had it, right? They've already had the starter home. They've maybe even had what they thought was going to be their forever home. So the larger home and all of that. And now a lot of people, I feel, just even in my generation, we are looking at it as, it's a lot of space to have to upkeep. So downsizing space. And now kids aren't taking the family home anymore. So I think that's where you're seeing a big shift and why people are not only going to tiny homes, they're going to homes on wheels, right? The RVs have become real popular again, where people now want to, put the money into a really, really nice decked out RV, and I can just drive and then park and all of that. So people are doing that because also the kids don't want the home. Like our home, we already know our children don't want this home. So our goal is stay in it till we're done with it, sell it. And if we're gone before we're able to sell it, we've already told the kids, it's in the will, sell this house and y'all take the proceeds. So even my husband and I, if we weren't in a really great situation with our mortgage, my husband was very smart right before COVID hit, and he converted us to a 10-year interest only loan because we had amassed a large amount of equity in our home during the pandemic from 2020 to 2022, when nationwide we saw high property values go up. Well, that became a benefit to us. So he converted us from a traditional PITA, which is their principal, interest, taxes, and insurance mortgage, put us over into a 10-year interest only. So our mortgage payment on our home is what my clients that can only really get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home afford. That's what we pay. So that's the only reason why we haven't downsized, is because we like our mortgage payment. But if we were in a traditional mortgage and the way our property values have skyrocketed, our insurance costs have skyrocketed, we would have sold by now and went smaller.
DeAnna, how important is location and neighborhood too? Because sometimes when people move, they can move into the nicest house in the nicest area. But if your neighbors are noisy or just not very good people, how important is scouting the location and the neighborhood before purchasing a home?
Well, that's always going to be client driven, right? So again, the onboarding process with my clients is, I give them the top 5, rate the top 5 for me. If location is up there, typically right after location is schooling most of the time, right? Here in Houston, I have found that depending on where you are, even nationally, location for some people may not necessarily be an issue, mainly like Houston. Houston is our hub. But like I'm in Cypress, which is a 30, 45-minute drive. Well, that's the norm. So location for us was not necessarily important to be close to Houston. We just wanted to be in a certain type of community with certain type of amenities. Schooling at that time when we moved here was important because we still had a daughter that was in high school. Now, location, when you're talking to your realtor, here's one of the things. A lot of times, and this is where realtors can get themselves in trouble, if your client is asking you to give you stats or demographics or crime rates and all of that on a neighborhood, the best thing you could tell them to do is go and get to the local police department or look online, and they can get whatever reports they need from there. That way you're not giving some information that's not accurate or putting yourself in a position where we're steering you from one area to the next. I tell my clients that even after we've settled, let's say we're going and looking at homes and it's during the day or it's on a weekend, it's Sunday, everything's really, really quiet, nobody's outside. I tell them to drive back through that neighborhood on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, during the week, because that's where you're going to see the real activity. That's where you're going to see your neighbors out and about. Can you live with that type of environment, right? Looking at whether or not a lot of people, it was funny because when we came from North Carolina, HOAs was not popular. We had a house, we had a couple of houses, and there was no HOA. So when we moved to Texas and we started hearing HOA, we like, what's that? What's that, right? And so now that's the norm here in Texas. So when my clients, they're all about location, they want property value, they want their homes to appreciate, they want good neighbors, then you might want to be in an HOA community that enforces those deed restrictions.
What do you enjoy, as we wrap this show up, DeAnna, in a couple minutes, what do you enjoy the most about the real estate agents industry, and how satisfying is it to assist your clients in finding the right home?
What I love and enjoy most about the real estate industry is the diversity. It is the education side of it. I am a student of my craft. I am constantly taking education courses. I am constantly going to events to broaden my information. I'm constantly adding new things, like now being excited about now being a developer officially. I'd already been doing it, but to now be certified in it and having a team, and we've got our first project that's going to be breaking ground here in Houston in the next couple of months. And it's just, again, after 20 something years, you know, I talk to a lot of people, and most people fizzle out on their passion or their purpose after 5 years, especially if they don't feel they've had the success. And we've had way more losses than wins. But yeah, real estate is just in me. And again, I will always keep going back to, it is one of the best wealth building vehicle, as long as you just know what side to be on. And how satisfying is it to assist my clients in finding the right home? There's no better feeling, especially when I've had the privilege of even dealing with my most challenging ones, where there's either opposition or they are Google fanatics. Well, Google said this and Google said that, and I have to keep debunking it. There's still satisfaction in being able to educate them along the way. And then when we're at the closing table, and then when we're at the celebration, and then we're a year later and I'm now kind of surveying them and saying, hey, do you still feel that this was the best decision you made? And I, 90% of the time get absolutely, DeAnna. So I love it. I love it.
What's 2 words to describe DeAnna Green? 2 words to describe yourself.
Ooh, loyal and spicy.
Any plans for a book in the future?
Yeah, so I have my memoir came out last year. It's called Pieces of Me. It is on Amazon, and it's in all format: paperback, hardback, Audible, and there's an ebook version to it as well. It's also on my website, DeAnnaGreen.com. It can be ordered there. I have been asked to do real estate, but real estate is just such a hard one to do because there's so many books already out there that, and trying to know which target audience to talk to. Am I talking to the wholesaler? Am I talking to the fix and flipper? Who am I talking to? So I don't know. My first book was very personal to me because it's a tribute to my children. I wanted them to be able to have something when I was gone, to really know who their mother is, where I was raised, how I came up, my struggles, my wins, and more importantly, the DNA that's coursing through their veins and why, right? So I don't know. I don't know if anything else is on the horizon for another book.
One thing I've learned about being an entrepreneur or business owner and starting a new career, and I'm 53, is you're going to have people that are skeptics, naysayers, some cases haters. You have to truly believe in what you're doing, because if you don't, other people won't, and you have to block out the noise. And being an entrepreneur, I'm wearing a hat right now, but I literally wear 9 or 10 different hats. And I think any career that you're in, you have to have the passion, but you have to be willing to learn other things too, besides doing one thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's another reason why, I was in corporate housing, and I worked for a company where most of our clientele was in the oil and gas industry. So back in, I guess probably maybe 2012, 2013 here in Texas, oil and gas went through a really, really bad situation. And so what I noticed was the company had all their eggs in one basket. So when oil and gas started plummeting, the company started plummeting. We had to lay people off, there was overtime. There was just, everything was just chaotic. So I took even that lesson and I said, okay, if I'm ever blessed to build my company, I was never going to put myself in a situation where we had all our eggs in one basket. So the diversity that comes with Nydan has come from that, wearing many hats, seeing the industry shift, trying to get in front of it versus being behind it. I'm the queen of pivot. I can duck and dodge real quickly. Let's start something else new over here. And again, try to get ahead of the situation. And then knowing how, this is one of the things I will always say to entrepreneurs out there is, as you're building your business and you're starting to scale, making sure that not only do you know when to scale, but you also know how to scale. And that also entails wraparound services to your business. I think the thing that probably rubs me wrong more times is when I'm talking to an entrepreneur and she's doing, maybe taxes over here, but then she's also a candle maker. And then she's a part-time dance instructor. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. How does any of that wrap and make sense? So I would always say is, as you're growing your business, I'm getting ready to add insurance to it. So I'm taking my insurance license now because I now see a need that I've now started helping my clients build wealth. And not every client wants to do what's called a 1031 exchange, which is sell a real estate property and then they got to go find a like property in order to keep that money flowing so that they're not taxed. Well, now I'm looking at, no, how about we put it into some annuities? We put it into, some IULs. We put it into something where you can park it, make some money off of it until you decide what to do. So that makes sense for my business because it's all about wealth building. So I would leave with that too, is as you scale your business, make sure that whatever new services or products you add to it, it will always lead back to the nucleus, and everything that we build leads back to our nucleus being real estate.
DeAnna, as we wrap up the show, can you just quickly tell us about your podcast show, Let's Be Raw Podcast, Real Authentic Women, and how often you record an episode, and how can our audience follow and subscribe?
Yes. So Let's Be Raw, the real stands for Real Authentic Women. It's actually more media based. So we help women be able to tell their story authentically, raw, no judgment. And we meet women wherever they are in their journey. For the woman, for the first time, she's never told the story. She's trying to find her voice. She may not be comfortable being on a stage. She may not be comfortable it being in a magazine. So I invite her to come on the podcast, and that's where it's one-on-one. Ahead of time, I know we're talking about what's the storyline she wants to talk about, what the topic questions are going to be, but I also encourage them to let it flow naturally. I might have 6 questions already prepared, but if the conversation leads us down another path, then I want them okay with that, right? Trusting me with their story, because these women, that's the other big thing about Let's Be Raw that I feel does set my podcast different than other ones out there. I lead with telling the women this podcast is not about what you do. This is about who you are. Because a lot of times for women, every time we show up in spaces, we want to talk and lead with our accolades, what sorority we belong to, where did we graduate from. That's just what you do. It's not who you are. So we're on YouTube. We're filming right now our 3rd season. I am very particular about, just like I saw you were, Chris, too. So not everybody gets on. I do a pre-interview with you to really kind of understand your story. Does it line up? And then, we have that, and I only do 7 or 8 each season. Because then I also bring the ladies back after each season to my home, and we have a more intimate fireside chat where all the ladies come together from that season. You can follow us on YouTube. It's at the DeAnna Green. That's pretty much everything. My Facebook, my Instagram. Let's Be Raw's platform on Instagram is Let's Be Raw with the _media. And then we have a magazine. So we're getting ready to release the 2nd edition of the International Magazine, which will come out in March for National Women's Month. We're getting ready to, we just announced our first book anthology. So we're in the process of opening that up to 10 amazing women that want to start telling their story 1 chapter at a time. And then we're also starting to put the touches on our first international speakers conference and retreat the latter part of this year.
By the way, as we wrap this up, I'll have to bring you back on again in the future. When I was younger, I hated public speaking, especially in school. I was always the kid that was in the back of the classroom. I would kind of shrink in the spotlight. And now, being 53, I'm very comfortable speaking in front of people on camera and doing public speaking as well. And I would, next time I have you come on, I would like to talk to you a little more about your public speaking as well.
Yes, absolutely. This has been an amazing, I always like when I'm on a podcast and we get to go beyond just the basics of real estate. And you allowed me to do that today, Chris. I appreciate this.
It's the guests that make the show. I'm just the host. I've been very lucky. And I'm going to put you on the spot here as we wrap this up in 30 seconds. What's a fun fact about DeAnna Green?
Oh, a fun fact about DeAnna Green. I used to be, I love saying this, I used to be a nail biter. I mean, I would bite my nails to what they call to the quick. That's the old people saying and it would bleed. And now my nails are a staple piece. I don't bite them. I get them done every 3 weeks. There's a different design on every nail. And I found it to be a conversational starter. I get men and women alike. I don't care where I go that want to stop, take a look at my nails and have a conversation, which allows us to obviously talk and lead into other things. But yeah, that's a fun fact.
What's your favorite color nails?
I'm partial to pinks. Although today I went different. I let my nail lady, I've gotten comfortable with her, just kind of give her a design and she chooses a color. So today I've got black with some shades of a green in it and some gold and some white. But my go-to would be something with some shades of pale pink to a hot pink in it.
Hey, DeAnna, as we wrap this up, ask the host CDP a question. Do you have a quick question for me to put me on the hot seat as we wrap this up?
Oh, one, how'd you find me and what made you say, okay, let's have the BossCHIC of Real Estate on my show today?
Well, my show is very diverse with guests because it says live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, but I love sports and I love doing my sports shows, but I want my show to be very diverse with topics and guests, and I don't want to be stereotyped by the traditional radio industry. This gentleman can only talk sports and that's it. And being in security, I was in corporate security for 2+ decades, and I think that career prepared me for this, because when you're in security, you got to deal with all walks of life. You got to learn how to communicate, think on your feet, you got to listen, and I think it's really brought out who I am. I was very shy in my 20s and 30s, and now I love it. And I use social media. Everybody hears the negative aspects of social media, and there are negative aspects. I use it as a good tool, and I've had a number of guests on from TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and the technology has really changed everything for me. And I love connecting with people, the storytelling, the learning aspect, and producing good shows. I love doing what I'm doing.
Well, you certainly can't tell that you were a young kid that didn't like public speaking. You have certainly taken the bull by its horn, and have done an amazing job. And the number of podcast interviews, congratulations to you on that.
Well, thank you so much. And I reached out to people like yourself, and I've been very fortunate. And I always give people advice: always stay humble and stay hungry and keep learning. Never get complacent. If you do get complacent, then maybe it's time to move on to something else. But age is just a number too. I'm trying to prove to people age is just a number. It's a liability. It's an asset. It's an asset, not a liability. And I just love what I'm doing. And DeAnna, as we wrap this up, where can our audience follow you and Nydan Group on social media, your website, and the best way of contacting you if somebody is in the Houston area looking for a new home?
So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, everything is tied to the DeAnna Green. My website is deannagreen.com. That's where you're going to find my personal brand. That's also where you're going to find Let's Be Raw opportunities. So for any of your listeners, you don't have to be just based here in Houston. Any woman that wants to have her story told, you can find our links there. Let's Be Raw is Let's Be Raw _media on Facebook and Instagram. Nydan is NydanGroup.com on Instagram, Facebook, and on the web.
Well, DeAnna, I want to say thank you so much for giving us an hour. I apologize for keeping you over 45 minutes.
It's okay.
And you have an open invite to come back on my show again in the future. And I want to say continued success in what you're doing. And it's my guest stories and careers that keep me motivated and keep inspiring me. And just give me a little bit of time tonight, and I will send you the full video, the audio, and I will edit it into reels and clips, because everybody's attention spans nowadays is shrinking.
Small. Yeah.
Very small and shrinking, like 20, 30 seconds. So I will do that as well. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on here today, DeAnna, and continued success. And we'll keep on touching social media.
All right. Sounds good, Chris. Have an amazing day, and thank you to your audience.
Thank you so much, DeAnna, and I will tune into your next show next week.
All righty. Talk to you later.
You too. Thank you.
Right. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody, that wraps up season 12, episode 51, overall 656 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by our friends at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com. I'm going to play a little video clip here from DeAnna Green's YouTube channel. So go to the DeAnna Green on YouTube, hit subscribe. And this is a video from her. She's the founder and CEO of Nydan Realtor in Texas, outside of Houston. We're going to play this clip right now. Please make sure you follow DeAnna Green on YouTube.
417 29th Street in Galveston, Texas. I am DeAnna Green, CEO and co-founder of the Nydan Group.
I'm Richard Reeves. I'm the construction manager for Warner Construction.
We want to take you inside and go through all of the ups and downs that we experienced while completely renovating this beautiful 5-bedroom, 3-bath home. I mean, Richard, obviously this has been a project that we have been working on for 18 plus months, right?
Yeah.
You got to see what it looked like before.
Yeah.
And when I tell you this is a complete transformation, what would you say were your top 3 challenges?
Can I give you a top 5?
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Because there was a lot.
There was a lot. So one of the main things being an old house, the house didn't have central AC and heat, right? And a house that is built without it, putting it in it is very hard.
Talk to me about foundation.
Terrible foundation. We ended up having to replace a whole lot of footings on it. To answer your question on the third things of a challenge would definitely be the installation.
Wow. Okay, so let's kind of walk through here. Look how much larger it is. So it's large enough to entertain 10,
Absolutely.
12 people. What I am highly impressed with is how this stairwell turned out.
We used the oak top on the stairs, stained them with just a clear coat. So this is the natural color of the wood. So we have a custom cabinet builder that does all this fine work. His name's Ruben. In fact, this door at the bottom of the stairs, he built that door from scratch. So per Galveston code, you're not actually allowed to have anything habitable underneath there.
Well, and more importantly, as you're seeing that our climate is changing so much.
Everything that's coming to it is all PEX piping, so it can expand like 6 times its size. This thing's bulletproof.
Yeah, I like that. Bulletproof. Okay, so let's talk about this master bedroom. One of the things that I absolutely loved is the fact that we were able to keep the high ceilings, because it really goes along with what the new builders are doing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And obviously it makes the room appear much bigger. And this bathroom, we were thinking shower and tub was going to be on a completely separate side, and you just really came in here and just kind of changed this up.
It's designed in a way that whenever you run your shower, it's so wide and so far that you don't even need a glass partition.
You still gave them a large master closet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. And then this room here, we knew that 2 bathrooms was not going to be sufficient.
Yeah. So what we ended up doing, this is where we put our washer and dryer, and then this is again the water closet, and then we actually took this space on the other side, and this is the closet for another bedroom.
Right. And then being able to add again the shower,
Yep.
that combo for us to be able to have the shower, the extra sink area, and then as large as it is. Okay, so let's talk about then this other bathroom that we had, because oh my goodness, I remember this bathroom distinctively.
Oh,
Like-
it was terrible. It's yeah.
Did we even have a window? I don't even remember.
You had a hole.
Oh, it was just a hole.
Yeah.
Okay. There's so many times that I see a lot of builders. I hate when they leave a lot of dead space.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't do that here. Every square footage in this house has a purpose and can be utilized for something. Okay, so Richard, one of the great things about the kitchen that you were talking to me about was definitely the cabinetry work.
So the cabinets are built to the kitchen. There's no wasted space.
And I love the fact that when we first came in here, even with you dropping the ceilings, to still give that elongated type of look, and again, the custom look. We have the soft close drawers too. Even this countertop space, when we're trying to figure out how long to go.
Yeah, so originally you had it designed, you wanted an island. In retrospect, really it's not a lot of counter space. So I came back and I said, hey, why don't we make it a peninsula?
Yeah, and then again, even lighting. Most people go with warm light.
Yep.
But when you think about where you are, what you're planning to use your home for, it made sense when he actually came back and said, DeAnna, we actually need to go with cool light.
Yeah. We use these disc lights, but then you come in and these lights install in like 2 minutes. So much easier, and I think they're $16 a piece compared to $100.
And easier to change
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Man, this deck, we didn't even have a deck to begin with.
No, that's what we want to do. We want to give them a place to be outside in the element.
But also from a leveling and that foundation issue that we had
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, yeah. This was a completely different elevation than this.
Right.
So we had to completely rebuild everything.
One of the things that I definitely realized, not just having the right construction team, the right GC on the job, it was also the relationships that you needed to have with the city. Again, so impressed. The owner has been down here multiple times. She's impressed with it. We've got the cruise line that's literally, we can see it across from here.
Yep.
So that's going to bring her some business Airbnb wise. We're truly looking forward to the next project, Richard.
Absolutely. Us too.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
That clip was courtesy of DeAnna Green. She is the CEO and founder of the Nydan Group, and she's also known as the BossCHIC Lady of Real Estate in the state of Texas as well. So I want to say thank you to DeAnna Green for coming on and talking to us about her career in the real estate industry over in the United States, in the Houston, Texas area as well. And I have another announcement as we wrap this show up, guys. The next live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, hosted by yours truly, CDP, aka Chris Pame, is going to take place on Wednesday, February 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern with my special guest. It's her first appearance. Her name is Keisha Reynolds. She's a hypnotherapist, and she's also a career coach out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So Keisha Reynolds, a hypnotherapist, and she deals with sleeping hypnotherapist, and she's also a career coach, will be on her show. So Wednesday, February 4th at 7 o'clock, Keisha Reynolds will join us, and I have a couple more shows. If you're an individual that has a unique story and a career, and you would like to share it on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show or the Small Talk Podcast with Marlene Sharp and myself, please email me at cpame19@gmail.com. And the Small Talk Podcast, we were supposed to do an episode on Tuesday night, but there's some technical glitches with StreamYard. So Marlene and myself are hoping to do our newest episode hopefully next week. So stay tuned to my social media for updates on the next Small Talk Podcast as well. As we wrap up this show, guys, the Cambridge and District Humane Society on Saturday, April 11th, 2026 at the Cambridge Newfoundland Club, located at 1500 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario, not far from the Humane Society, is having a prohibition speakeasy fundraising event. Tickets are only $75 per ticket. The money goes back into the programs at the Cambridge District Humane Society, and you can purchase tickets at the cambridgehumanesociety.org or drop by the shelter at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. See Zach or Kat, and they can assist you with tickets as well. Cambridge District Humane Society is also the place to look if you're looking to adopt a pet. Check out their website, cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the animals that are up for adoption. Some of my buddies down there, which I'll see tomorrow, Daisy, Christopher, Bernie, they're up for adoption down there. The staff and Michelle Glatley and the staff do a wonderful job down there. So if you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge District Humane Society. You can call them to book an appointment to see these animals at 519-623-7722, extension 0. Or you can check out their website, cambridgehumanesociety.org. And they also have an Amazon wish list. So if you're able to help them out, check out their Amazon wish list on CambridgeHumaneSociety.org. And also, if you have some pet food, dog food, cat food that you're not using at home, they do a pet emergency fund once a month for people in the Cambridge area that are struggling financially with the cost of the high cost of pet food. So if you're able to donate some pet food, please do so. The Cambridge District Community Society is right across from the Cambridge Center Mall. So, and also too, the Cambridge Humane Society, you can't buy happiness, but you can adopt it. And always remember, adopt, don't shop. And hopefully we'll get Daisy, who's one of my favorites, Christopher, Bernie. These dogs are great dogs down there, and the staff do a wonderful job caring for them, and the volunteers down there as well. I happen to volunteer down there twice a week as well. So if you're looking to be a volunteer at the Cambridge District Community Society, go on CambridgeHumaneSociety.org and click on the volunteer forum as well. And hopefully you guys can help out with checking out the Prohibition event on Saturday, April 11th, 2026. $75 a ticket, and you can purchase them at CambridgeHumaneSociety.org, or you can get them down at the Cambridge District Community Society at 1650 Dunbar Road. And as we wrap up our show, guys, again, Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership is your go-to service center this winter. That's right, a no-charge 12-volt battery test, plus you could receive a $20 instant rebate located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Automall. And again, Barry Cullen Chevrolet is a proud sponsor and advertiser of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. And speaking of advertising, if you're a business owner and you want to advertise on a live streaming platform such as this, you can contact me at cpame19@gmail.com or DM me on any of my social media pages. My prices are very competitive and fair compared to traditional radio stations. I am on 21 platforms. I have over 630,000 views on YouTube, and I've hit over 10,000 plus downloads and listens on Spotify. So I can advertise your company and business on my live stream show, and also on my audio platforms, and of course all my social media platforms, including TikTok as well. If you want to book a personalized video message from yours truly, CDP, yes, I am on Cameo. Go to cameo.com and type in Chris Palme. I do happy anniversary, happy Hanukkah, happy birthdays, congratulations. If you want to talk to me about my talk show, some of my favorite guests, some of my freelance media work, and some of my favorite sports stories, please go to cameo.com, type in Chris Palme. I look forward to your requests today. You can also follow me on Blue Sky Social. What is Blue Sky Social? Blue Sky Social is what Twitter X used to be. So check me out on Blue Sky Social at Live with CDP19. That's at Live with CDP19 on Blue Sky Social. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram, and hopefully coming soon on TikTok. You can check out my media work through my website. Go to beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. You can also follow this content creator on TikTok at Chris Palme. Make sure you like, share, and follow my content there as well. And I have more great content coming up on TikTok. And I want to say thank you to my 1,600 followers on TikTok. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars, live streaming, podcasting, go to StreamYard.com. StreamYard.com. They have basic free plans. They have paid professional plans like I do. And if you're a company and business that does a lot of webinars, go to StreamYard.com and contact the sales department for pricing as well. Yours truly has been with StreamYard now for 5 years, and I give them a big thumbs up. So if you're looking to do a podcast or to do webinars for your company, check out StreamYard.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. The audio version is on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, TuneIn, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I want to say thank you to 71 countries around the world for listening to this show. And I'm also hit over 10,000 downloads and listens on Spotify. So thank you so much for listening to this show as well. Finally, guys, you can email live with CDP Sports Entertainment Talk Show at cpame19@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, suggestions, and that would be greatly appreciated. And also, I'm on PayPal. If you like my YouTube channel and my media work and would like to support my content, I'm on PayPal at Chris Pame on PayPal. Or if not PayPal, book a personalized video message on cameo.com/Chris Pame. Finally, guys, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, X, Threads, Instagram, LinkedIn, Blue Sky Social, everywhere except Snapchat. And also remember to subscribe and like and share my YouTube channel. Go to Chris Pame Live with CDP Talk Show. And I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. My next goal is to get to 800. So I'm only 25 subscribers away from 800. So please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing my channel. And remember to check out my YouTube shorts. I do a lot of short videos on YouTube shorts as well. And that's about it for today's, guys. I want to say thank you so much for everybody for coming on here. And that is about it. Thank you to DeAnna Green, the BossCHIC of Real Estate in Texas, in the Houston, Texas area, for coming on here. And please make sure you follow her on our social media platforms. And again, my next show is going to be Wednesday, February 4th at 7 p.m. with hypnotic therapist Keisha Reynolds and a career coach out of Philadelphia. And we're going to ask Keisha a little bit about her career as a hypnotherapist and talk to her about a career coach and maybe see if she's a Philadelphia Eagles fan, being based out of Philadelphia as well. So Wednesday, February 4th, 7 p.m., the next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. And I'm hoping to get the next Small Talk podcast in with Marlene Sharp next week as well. So please check out my social media pages for more information about that. And that is about it. Again, thank you to DeAnna Green and to everyone watching this on my live stream platforms and audio platforms. And special thank you to Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership for being a part of the show as an advertiser and sponsor as well. I hope everybody has a great day. Stay warm and enjoy our football-free weekend, as the Super Bowl isn't until Sunday, February 8th, between New England and Seattle from Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California as well. Take care, everybody. And before we wrap this show up, guys, too, deepest sympathies and condolences to the family of Catherine O'Hara. Catherine O'Hara, who was born in Toronto, was an SCTV star with the late John Candy, Andrea Martin, Joe Flaherty. Catherine O'Hara was in a number of movies besides SCTV, the comedy show. She was known for her role with Home Alone 1 and 2 as well. Catherine O'Hara passed away today, sadly, at the age of 71.